Welcome back to another edition of the Friday 13th YouTube channel. Today I've got a fantastic interview for you. This is a super group. It's a band called Category 7. Now they're about to release their debut album, which is self-titled on Metal Blade Records. It's coming out on the 26th of July. Now I recently just interviewed guitarist Phil Demmel, and most of you out there will know him for his work with Kerry King and his previous band Vio-Lence and Machine Head. Also in this band is a fantastic lineup. We've got John Bush from Armored Saint on vocals. We've got Mike Orlando on guitars with the Adrenaline Mob. We've got Jack Gibson on bass guitar from Exodus. And on drums, Jason Bittner from Overkill. So check out this interview, folks. I'd like to thank Andy at Metal Blade for setting this up, and also Phil Demmel for doing the interview. So please share, leave comments. Thanks for watching, Metalheads. Be safe. Okay, then. So, folks, we're speaking to Phil Demmel from Category 7. Welcome to Friday 13, Phil.
Oh, good to be here, man.
Yeah.
Been a while. Been a
Oh,
while.
absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going to ask you some warm-up questions. As a guitar player, who's inspired you? Who's your influences? I know Randy Rhoads is a big influence.
Yeah, Rhodes. But Michael Schenker, Adrian Vandenberg, uh, man, Nuno's pretty insane these days. There's all kinds. You flip through my Instagram feed, and it's mostly all these super young shredders and newer guys, or less maybe to the rock world unknown dudes, but it's finding these influences from all these little nooks and crannies. It's insane the amount of information that's out there these days.
Yeah, I can imagine. You're still playing the Randy Rhoads guitar, I believe. That's one of your favorites, is it?
Yeah. It's my signature. It's a signature guitar, but the polka dots are in tribute to Randy for sure.
Right. So how many guitars do you actually own now, Phil? You must have quite a few.
Oh yeah, at last count, I think I'm like maybe higher 80s, like 87, 89 or so.
What do you do with them all?
Well, I kind of rotate some of them in and out, and some of them just sit in storage. So I donate them. We do a couple of charity things, and I usually grab one and have it donated, and I'll do some trades with some people too. And but a lot of if I get them for free, I have a hard time selling them.
Really? Why? Why's that then? Why's that?
I don't know. I don't know. It's especially from endorsements and stuff like that, that I don't it's just not something that I feel entirely comfortable, unless the number was ridiculously high, that I would do. Especially my signature stuff, my Jackson stuff. But I've acquired a bunch of guitars over the years through via trades, and I like trade, you know, um did a trade with Gary Holt, did one with Mark Morton, did one with um man, I have a handful. Me and Zach Wild have traded guitars. I gave him one of the Randy models, and it was an amazing thing. I went down to they were doing that uh the blood the not blood the Black Label the unplugged DVD that they did. I went down, and I was a big Randy guy, and I had another one of we did a run of my guitars, and so I brought one for him. I gifted it to Zach, and I was down there with my son for for something, and then he called me the next day. He's like, "Hey, why don't you stop by the house on the way back?" And I figured it would be good for my son to see Zach's place, and I'd never been there before. It's and went to a spot. He took us into the Black Vatican, I think he calls it, or the studio where they record up there and stuff. And he pulled the old Christmas story thing with me. He's like, "Hey, what's in that box over there? I think it's got your name on it," or something like that. I got goosebumps thinking about it now. And
Wow.
he gifted me one of his Vertigo maple. I got it right here. This one stays with me.
Awesome.
Um, it's oh man, it's right next to me actually. And uh it's a Vertigo Les Paul. It's like number 5. He signed the back of us. He gave me this cool little card. Zach Wild is one of a kind, man. The man is, I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting like a swap, other than, but something like that invites me to his home and with my son, and gives me the tour. And he had the vest that Randy wore on stage. It's this tiny little vest, and So it was a moment I'll never forget. I think that Zach Wild is a hero to not only me but to this generation of players, and that's something I won't ever forget.
Okay, then. So, just
Let
for
me
people out there,
pull it out. Yeah, I'm gonna pull it out because I have it in a minute. Hold on, one
yeah,
more.
no problems, Phil.
I mean, look at this thing.
Oh, wow.
Look at it's the Maple Vertigo. I don't think they made a whole bunch of these. And on the back, signed it to me. Father Phil, stay strong, much love, your brother, Zach Wild. 2013. Holy crap, 11 years ago.
Wow, that's awesome,
So
Phil.
I name, most of the guitars that I use, I give them names, and they're usually guys' names. But this one's Luck. This is Lady Luck. So thank you, Zach Wild.
Awesome, Phil. So just before we talk about category seven, what is your guitar setup for people that play guitar? What do you use for people that are interested in finding out what your equipment is?
I'm been using the Neural DSP Quad Cortex. I'm a big fan of the 5150s, the EV or the EVH 3 5150s. And so in the Quad Cortex, they have modeled that amp, and using that one just for it's about the size of a lunchbox, so it fits in my backpack, and I'm able to do all that using my Jackson guitars, EMG pickups, Dunlop strings. Um, yeah, what else? Dunlop picks.
All
There you go.
right then, Phil. So we're going to talk about category seven now. So who came up with the name category seven?
Mike Orlando did. We had, you know, we were trying to find names for months, and we couldn't agree on anything. Didn't really like too much. So I think that we wanted to go category five, because there's five of us. We wanted something with five, the five of the blood, the Mach 5, the five, whatever. Didn't work out. So then,
There is actually a band called Category Five, but it's spelt with a K.
yeah, we've gone through a bunch of, seeing all the names that we kind of liked were already taken. And so Mike just came up with, category seven. It's the storm that ends the world. And we're like, okay, I don't hate it. That's our name.
Okay.
And so we we stuck with that. It's a name that we don't think I don't think to a man, I don't think we'll all just go, oh my God, it's the most amazing name. But it was something that we felt comfortable that we could live with being called that.
Right then. So how long have you known Mike? Obviously, he's been with Adrenaline Mob with Russell Allen from Symphony X. I guess he was part of the band at one point. So how did you meet Mike? And obviously you're friends with Jack and Jason. You toured with Overkill a couple of years ago.
Hmm. Yeah, I know Jason for a while with Shadow. So like maybe 2004, right after I joined Machine Head is when I got thrust back into the music industry. I'd been out of it for a bit, and so had a lot of catching up to do. But Jason was one of the first people that I met and hit it off with. Mike, I met on Brian Tichy had put together these Randy Rose Remembered shows. Super cool, you know, ensemble of guitar players, and he had like a house band. Rudy Sarzo was always part of it, and Mike had done a couple of shows, and we had met then and hit it off, and kept in touch. And towards my end days of Machine Head, we were talked about, hey, maybe doing something. And so yeah, we we did it. We hung out and made it happen.
Right. And obviously you're friends with Jack because you're in the same area with Exodus and stuff. I mean, John Bush, that's a really interesting singer to get together with you guys. What other singers did you approach? Or do you just think John Bush is the guy?
No, when me and Mike and Jason, and when we decided like, hey, we're gonna try something, we all put together our list of who we wanted, and at the top of everybody's list was John Bush. And I knew John well enough. We'd been in contact, talking shit about sports. He's a Celtics fan. I'm a Sixers fan. So um, I reached out to him, and I liken it to, asking the hot girl to prom. Nobody asked the hot girl to prom. She just sits, and he hasn't been doing much. And so I asked the hot girl to prom, and she said yes.
It's a good way of putting it. So John Bush was the main guy. Obviously, listening to your music, you can definitely hear the Exodus, you can definitely hear the Overkill, you can definitely hear the Armored Saint. What other bands would you
Mhm.
say that you sound like?
Oh, man. It's hard because we're all influenced by there's metal, but I think that, and I can speak for me and Mike, that we like a lot of the alternative rock, or not alternative, I don't even know what to call it, but rock, the Alter Bridge and Nonpoint and Shinedown and Seven Dust, and these bands too that have, they're heavy, but they have this incredible melody too, and groove and a rock sense to them. So um, I think that you're going to hear some of that as well. Um, the earlier stuff that we wrote, I mean, we wrote a song before John was on board, and it was more Pantera and riffy Van Halen-ish. But I mean, you hear a lot of the early Van Halen shuffle stuff and the upbeat stuff that we're doing. Um, I think that these songs without John, they're great songs. I think that the songs are great, but he and what he does and adds what he does to them makes them great and amazing and incredible songs in my eyes. So he just adds so much more to, and I think that Mike was really cognizant of, after he was on board, to write in an acceptable and a more adhesive sense for John's vocal style. So that was taken, he was super cognizant of that.
What about Jack? Was he involved from the very beginning as well, or was he somebody that you approached later on with John?
Jack was he was brought on a little bit later. I think we had some songs done, maybe a handful of songs done already, because we were in the demo stages. Mike was playing, the bass, and Mike was actually programming drums and all the demos. So for the most part, it was all Mike on the demos, and I'd add solos later. But Mike is the catalyst and the champion of this band. He's recorded us all. I recorded here, and he is in Staten Island. And so everybody else went to his place and recorded there. He recorded it, he mixed it, he mastered it, he did all the demoing. So Mike is our MVP. He's what keeps this engine running.
So you guys just went to New York, all of you, because it's like Mike was out there and Jason. A lot easier
Yeah,
for
he
those
did.
guys.
Everybody did. I tracked here. My guitar tracks were here. My rhythms were here. My leads were here. I went back after the drums were on their last day, I think, because I wanted to sit with all the tracks before, structure wise. I've been more of our writing has gone, me and Mike had a bunch of riffs together, and he cultivated what I had and made them into stuff, and we had been structuring together over the phone and remotely. And then as the songs were going, Mike was just super prolific, and he was uh, busting them out. So it would get to where Mike was writing verses and choruses. I was writing like bridges and solo sections, parts of that. And I wrote a couple of choruses, but that was our trip. And so then everybody went back there. I tracked here. I went back after drums were done to kind of go over structures. I've been pretty hands-on with structures, and Mike's been super open to that. And but that was it. I went back into the videos. It's all been done kind of remote.
Right then. So would you be right in saying that Mike produced the album for you guys?
Hmm.
Yeah. So what about the lyrics? Did John write any lyrics, or was all the lyrics wrote before he came in the band?
No, no, it's all John. Every word. I had a couple ideas, and maybe Mike did too. I'm not sure, but I just had a couple ideas for a couple of little spots that I had written some breaks in that I wanted a blood so, razor sharp, that, that the big sing along parts I had written specifically. It stops here. John comes in with the t-shirt quote, and um, so the lyrics are all John.
Right. Okay. Then, so the category 7. Did you have any other titles for this album? Was that the only title that you wanted to call the album?
Yeah, I think that it was the self-titled was the way to go for the initial record. I thought that once Eder Storman came into play, which was the instrumental, and Jason came, he brought the title, would have been a good title. But I like the simplicity of just the self-titled record, debut.
Right then. Okay. So we're going to talk briefly about the songs on the album. Which ones are your favorites, Phil? Do you have any favorites on this
I
album?
do, I do. I think that Exhausted was one of my favorites off the bat. It was the hook is just I can't get it out of my head. I love the harmony solo that Mike wrote. Well, we both wrote. I He wrote one and then I wrote one. So the back and forth with me and Mike is pretty frantic, and it's probably my favorite solo section on the record. I love Land I Used to Love, Apple of Discord. They're more epic songs. Stitches is great. All the songs when we were thinking, okay, what are the singles going to be? It's like you could pick any of them other than the instrumental, obviously, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Waver at the Breaking Point, White Flags and Bayonets, they all have the Bush hooks in them. The songs are super solid. So I don't think you can go wrong.
I mean, the song "White Flags and Burnets" that's got a little bit of blast beats in it, hasn't it, on Jason's drumming. I've
Yeah, yeah,
noticed.
it
What made him
does.
want? What made him want to do blast beats on that song? Was it?
I don't know. I don't know. Just because to show off what he can do, obviously, and it fits the parts, and it is. We're a metal band, those are all metal elements.
I mean, the song "Apple of Discord." That's a weird title. What does it mean to you?
It's a mythical tale and I don't remember all the bits of the story, but I believe it's about uh maybe it's not a princess, but like that. She wants to marry two guys, or a guy wants to marry two girls, and like she brings this apple of discord, and whoever eats from it, then it creates this, madness. So look it up, Google it. It's a cool story. I don't know all the nuances.
Sounds like the old Walt Disney film that the kids used to eat with the apple and that princess, all that shit. You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is a mythical story, but it's you know
I mean, the other song "Through Pink Eyes," weird title. Explain that.
through pink eyes.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the last songs that we wrote, and I think I think that he's maybe looking at from a perspective through pink eyes. Pink eyes is conjunctivitis. It's
Okay. Right. Yeah.
when you're looking through these, a different filter or something like that. I hate to speak about his lyrics when I don't know too much about
Yeah.
him. That's what
I understand.
I think that it's about. But yeah, the dude he's pretty cerebral. John Bush is a smart guy. He's pretty witty too. So he likes you to think about his lyrics, and they have, a lot of different meanings
So
depending on
Phil, so
who.
Phil, how long did it take to record this album? Would you say?
Um, Man, it was done in pieces. So maybe a couple months.
Yeah,
We're
obviously with the time schedule, you've been on tour doing your projects and things. That kind
Yeah,
of delayed stuff.
yeah, everything was kind of in between. I was doing a lot of Lamb of God stuff and tracking in between. Mike had tracked all the demos, and I knew the riffs that I had written, but he had sent me videos on how he was playing some of the stuff. So I had, watch the videos and then track at home. And it's the first album that I tracked rhythms in my studio here. I'd done solos and a bunch of solos for a bunch of different stuff, but it was cool, tracking rhythms by myself. It was the first time doing that, so it was pretty independent feeling and a good feeling.
Right then, the last song, "Utter Storm," which is the instrumental, a very long song, 8 minutes. It's got, like you said, it's Looney biographies, a lot of shredded in there. When I listen to it, the shredders is Racer X, Cacophony, Apocrypha, and a little bit of Andy LaRocque's King Diamond in there. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, La Rock for sure. Um, when we wrote that song, I was trying to come up with something with a little Michael MSG into the arena meets there was another one it was just kind of like we're taking these instrumentals that we really liked, and so there's definitely an into the arena feel. There's another Shanker instrumental off of Assault Attack. I can't put my finger on it, but it has that kind of feel. And yeah, the back and forth with Mike, we were structuring the shit coming back and forth, and he's all, okay, then you go here, then I'll go here, then it's me quick, then it's it's a lot going on and super fun.
It's very much like influenced by, to me, like I say, Shrapnel guitarist. Do you agree? Do you think the Shrapnel era was a big
Yeah,
influence?
I think there's a little definitely. I mean, I think that between me and Mike, that we both were influenced by a lot of the Varney guys, a lot of the Shrapnel guys.
Absolutely. So, I mean, next question I'm going to ask you is this a supergroup or is it a band? Because I'm reading your biography, it's like people are a bit confused if it's going to be a band or just a one-off.
I feel like we're a band.
Right.
I think that the band needs we need a window in, with what everybody else is doing. So once we get that window, I think that we're a band. We're going to tour. We're going to do, we're going to be a band. Super group, man, it's hard to be for me to say we're a super group. It's like me and my wife Marta have a thing that's just saying you don't get to call yourself a badass. Other people call you a badass. Don't call yourself a badass. That just takes all the credibility away. So I don't want to call us a super group. I want to call us a band. I feel like we're a band.
That's good then. So, do you have any new songs wrote for the next album? Because I know these songs would have been wrote quite a while ago. Do you have any
I,
ideas for the next album, even though this
I
hasn't been
have
released
I
yet?
have some I have some songs that we haven't talked about it yet because we're still setting this record up and we're
Yeah.
still, everybody's excited to get this done. I have some Carrie stuff that we're touring, and so we're trying to find the window to make this happen because we all want this to happen, um, and we need to find that window.
Yeah. It's a brilliant album, by the way. For the production's excellent. You're going to get some good
Oh,
reviews.
thank you.
I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 because I think it's a really classic album with a
All
fantastic
right.
production. So do you enjoy the tour? I mean, it's going to be something for you guys when you go on the road. You're going to be, like you say, you're looking forward to it, aren't
I'm
you?
glad you dig it. I'm
Yeah,
glad you like it, Jason.
I
Thanks,
do, brother. I
bro.
think it's really, really good album. Like I say, the production's excellent. I like the way the
Right
combination of
on. Well,
like
that's
the
Mike
armored
Orlando.
saint, and all the thrash elements are in there. It kind of gels really well.
Right on, man. Thank you very much. That's Mike Orlando. Mike made it happen.
Right, Phil. I'd like to thank you for doing this interview. Keep in touch if you can. Do you have anything to say to the people watching this on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for all the positive things that have been said about the band. We're super excited. It's the great reception has been awesome for us to see, people digging everything. So we're excited to get out there. We're going to be out there and we'll be playing here pretty soon.
Brilliant. Well, have a nice day, Phil. Nice speaking to you again. I hope we meet
All
again in
right,
the
Jason.
future. Phil, thank you very much, my friend. Have a nice day, and I'll send you this interview when I can.
All right. See you, Jason.
Cheers again.